We're on. We're on. We're on. Yay! And all I could say is, fucking told you we were gonna beat the Cardinals. It was gonna be easy. They were gonna be a challenge. Their passing did produce better in the first half than Jimmy Garoppolo's did, but our defense held up and kept the game. And the Cardinals kept it close, but they end up being 3-5-1. We end up being 8-0 in a tough matchup on Thursday. So all I can say is good game for the Arizona Cardinals. Now we have a tougher half of the season. We face the Packers, the Seahawks another time. We got the Cardinals again like week 17. So we have pretty much the biggest opportunity to lead the division unless the Seahawks come to play. And that's literally the only team that I'm giving credit. I feel like this is going to be an 8-8 season with the Los Angeles Rams, seeing how they even lost to Keep to Leave and pretty much another decent, and they only got and they lost Marcus Peters, so that's going to be tough to recoup with just getting some fucking corner from some linebacker, some second string linebacker from Baltimore, and nothing else. Then we got Texans facing off against the Jaguars. Give the Jaguars their credit, and the Texans, even though the Texans had an easy, tough game somehow after coming from a game-winning touchdown. Deshaun Watson played well, but chucked up the football a bit too much and nearly costed the team the victory if it wasn't for some springy turnovers from Derek Carr. Running game not as impressive that it was like early of the season. And Gardner Minshew winning 2 straight and trying to keep competitive in an AFC South. At least the only confidence that the Texans have is Deshaun Watson still 3-0 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Saxonville ain't shit. And that's me being nice. Their defense keeps it passable, but without a good secondary, and of course, AJ Boye is their best corner. So I don't really see any confidence that Jacksonville is going to walk out this game in this contest. And this is going to be held up in England, so that's literally their home field advantage, not their own literal home field on Jacksonville. I feel like this is going to be good for certain receivers to come by, but Jacksonville and Houston don't have that many primitive injuries. And there's only Will Fuller that's out. And Tashawn Gibson, so we don't see anybody that's pretty big on the IR. Except Lamar Miller. That Carlos Hyde is pretty much the best option they have on the running. And J.J. Watt losing will give Gardner Minshew more breathing space. So I make this a close contest, but Houston offense still wins games in the end of the day. So I'm giving the 9 o'clock game to the Texans in a single-digit win. Because I have faith. Next up, Redskins, Bills. 5-2 Bills that only lost to a division leader and another team. Shockingly enough, the Bills are still one of the better defensive teams in the league. And Josh Allen, even though he's not doing well in the passing-wise thing, he can still use up his legs and just rush out the pocket. And seeing how half-assed the D-line has been, and he can barely grab any tackles, just like the Eagles' defensive line. They're not the only bad team defensively on the NFC East. I can see the goddamn Bills winning this by 40 or 30, depending if the Redskins actually think that they can win. Ooh, we're starting we're starting Dwayne Haskins. Ooh, what's he gonna do? Get stuffed up by the pocket again? They're only doing this so Colt McCoy or Case Keenum doesn't have to get scared off the Bills. Their secondary is scary as well, so you want Haskins to just get pressure off another good defensive team. Oh my god, I'm going to check if anybody's hurt. Because there's no way you're touching the Bills. You're not. As much as the Washington thinks that they're good, they're clearly not. You have Reuben Foster still in the IR, Alex Smith, Danny Johnson, Woodrum. Most of their players are fucked. I wouldn't give them anything except Quentin Dunbar and Josh Harvey Clemens. Good defensive players are out. And losing Miles Humphrey as well is kind of a tough thing. The Redskins are kind of fucked. Off the injury side of things and their development cycle, they are shit. They don't deserve to win that Tank Bowl. Well, they won the Tank. They lost the Tank Bowl, so congrats. Miami are the real winners. Bills win by 30. Next up, Tennessee Titans face off against the Carolina Panthers. Tennessee allowed fewer than 25 points in each game this season. And Malcolm Butler has been doing tremendous over the past 2 games. This Tennessee Titans team, you have a more legit quarterback on the staff. They have more reliable receivers, a better reliable running back from Derrick Henry. I can see them beating the Panthers, seeing they don't have the best defense to stop runs. And it shows a lot in their games. It shows a lot. If you don't watch some Panthers game, they don't they don't do well stopping the rushing game, and you see it off of the games they had against the fucking Buccaneers. You see it against the Saints. You see when they had to face us, when they couldn't stop Matt Breida, Tavon Coleman, and a few of our decent runs, and most of them were just handoffs. They can't stop us when we were in second and longs, and still the Panthers can't stop the run. That'll be the weakest part of their defense. If they can't stop a one, help because you got Gerald McCoy, that's not going to be good enough. It's not. If I were you, I would just play it safe and go for the Titans, and try to see if they can build up some momentum in the NFC South. Ryan Tannehill isn't bad, and I like their defense. Chances of I don't know if Kyle Allen is even starting. I don't know when Cam Newton comes back. It has been 8 weeks now. It's been since I think week 3, and they've been doing this because I think Cam Newton got an ankle injury or something. And even though if Christian McCaffrey leads in rushing over the season, it's still not going to be good enough. It's not. That's literally the only lead of offense. While at least the Titans have some weapons. And if Tannehill won't hurt you, right? Mariota still is a good quarterback, so I don't see why, even though I feel like they're going to trade him for experiments with Ryan Tannehill, because I feel like he's a better quarterback, and he's been undervalued since his time in Miami. Thanks, Miami. So, yeah. At the Titans beating the Panthers. Oh boy, I just want to check if there's going to be any more injuries, guys. Not much. Except Gerald McCoy's out, so that's, yeah, and Eric Reed. Whew. Oh, man. They're losing a lot of guys. Shaq Thompson? Oh, boy. Oh, no. Curtis Samuel's injured. I didn't even know. I haven't been watching. And Graham Gano. Shit, they are not winning. They are not winning this game. And this is updated from last night, so take it as you will. It is the most updated I can get into what are going to be the disadvantages coming into their game. I'm not going to predict who will be leading the season until week 11. So if you are asking for who's going to be, who I think will still continue to lead the division, who's going to be knocked out of the playoff picture, that will be coming out when teams are going to be in and out of playoff contention. That will happen as soon as you think. So Stay patient, guys. I've been only updating. I've been only having my takes on these games since week 6. So please take it with a grain of salt. Next up, what's supposed to be a dream game, Kirk Cousins facing off against Pat Mahomes, is Matt Moore. I feel like it would still be a reliable system, and the Chiefs' defense is still good. Just not in a pressuring sense, just a ball hawking sense, and they're able to zone. So they can stop Kirk Cousins. They can either get 2 or 3 picks because Cousins has been iffy at passing the ball, and just took Daryl Cook and it just took it just takes it just take Cook and Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen to make a play, and I feel like they can win this off of 2 touchdowns. So I have the Chiefs losing. They get 5-4. I don't think that's going to change the AFC West. Chances of them winning is incredibly low because they lose Pat Mahomes, that has been scarfed this season off the sack rate. The dude has not been getting the best pass protection in the world, and you saw it off their offensive plays they've been having, and that's how they lost. They've been victim to a big example, the Indianapolis Colts that are currently I think they lead the AFC South. So just take that with a grain of salt. Minnesota's now. They are 5-0 with Cousins. Cousins is 5-0 against non-NFC North opponents this season. So take it as you will. This could be still a confidence booster. So yeah, win with somebody as big as Pat Mahomes out for like 2 weeks. So take it as you will. They still have the rest of the season to go. So I'm not going to count this as a major loss unless they lose completely. That means their offense falls apart because they literally have an extra few days to gel. Next up, we're going to Hard Rock Stadium for the 0-7 winless Dolphins to face up against the 1-6 Jets. And the Jets are going to lose. Jets are going to lose. I don't care if you lost Kenyon Drake. I mean, no, I'm joking. The Jets are going to win. It's a possibility with the loss of Kenyon Drake for just a few late round picks because we know the Dolphins are going to tank. Ryan Fitzpatrick can't chuck the football unless it's the second half. And pretty much they have a better overall team, even if they lost Leonard Williams to the Giants. This is still a better overall team than the Dolphins. This could be a shootout to see who's going to, tank the worst. Seeing how the Dolphins, Bengals, and the Jets are trying to tank for talent for Justin Herbert or Tangle. So take it as you will. They have the Jets winning by a field goal. Next up, we have a wild card round revenge matchup with the Kobe Parky-less Chicago Bears. But we're facing off against an Eagles team that's finally building it up together. Utilize Jordan Howard, pass the ball conservatively, and learn how to play some fucking football. Because obviously you guys have been doing that for the previous 6 games. So I'm saying this with the most confidence, because Wentz has been throwing fewer than 200 touchdowns off his last 5 of 4. So please, this comes off massive turnovers. Aguilar, Alshon Jeffrey, Dallas not catching the football, not utilizing a good pass running receiver, halfback in Jordan Howard, and your O-line being as so bad as possible that the Dallas Cowboys that lost 3 straight pimp slapped y'all faggots on Sunday Night Football. And still though, Eagles could probably win because the Bears has been shit for majority of the season, only beating rebuilding teams and not proving that they have a good offense. I like it, bro. Their defense is solid. other than that, they've had an easy first half of the season. They fell apart because of a poor offense, Mitchell Trubisky being overrated. So this comes into a huge bunch of things. Mitchell Trubisky might want to get traded, or he's going to ask for a bigger salary even if he's playing like shit. And he might go to Pittsburgh. Because I don't know if they're trying to find Ben Roethlisberger retiring or something. So something might happen. I don't see the Bears coming out of this game a close one. So Eagles need to keep it up. Next up, Colts Steelers. Colts are coming 5-2. I think they had like a 1-2 start. They started winning multiple games. They started beating Raiders. They started beating the Chiefs. And then they started building up a winning streak. They pimp slapped the Bengals. They coming out now, coming for blood in Pittsburgh. In 5 straight wins against the goddamn Indianapolis Colts, averaging 15.8 points. And it's been mainly double-digit victory all the time whenever they face off against the Colts. Because Roethlisberger was on the team, Antonio Brown was on the team, Le'Veon Bell, a pretty good defense, and now they're scuffed with a terrible developing defense. No Ryan Shazier, no Le'Veon Bell, no Antonio Brown, very little Juju Smith-Schuster, but Nathan Rudolph isn't that bad, and they still have James Conner and Vance McDonald. So the Colts win. Next up, Lions, Raiders. The Raiders could win. It's possible. In so many ways, it could be possible. It comes off a better running core, a more consistent quarterback, and the Raiders allowed 8 passing touchdowns of their last 2 games. Their defense is shit. We saw that against the Packers 2 weeks ago, and we saw that of the previous loss they had. And I think they had the Rams. And that came off a 5 touchdown game Aaron Rodgers had at home against the Raiders in the previous game, where the other guy got 2. Deshaun Watson got 3 touchdown passes. Most of them was to Carlos Hyde and Hopkins. So please, God, Stafford has an arm, but he has no good receivers. And we saw that even though they beat the Giants, you beat the Giants. Congratulations. That's still not good enough. I have the Raiders beating the Lions. Next up, Buccaneers, Seahawks. Buccaneers are coming off 5-2. 2-5, while the 6-2 Seahawks are like a few games behind, or like a game behind the goddamn 49ers, and 2 games behind the 49ers, and they're kind of scuffed on the offensive level. I like DK Metcalf. I like Chris Carson. And pretty much are a better overall team. I have the Seahawks winning. No McCoy. They have no good receivers. And each time they come close to winning a game, Freeman just throws like several fucking picks to ruin the game. So, yeah. We'll be going to Denver. Browns will finally get an easy win. The Broncos have won 11 of their last 12 games against the Browns because the Browns were shit. Now they have a better receiving core. They have better run game because Nick Chubb, even though their passing has been shit, their running has stayed consistent. They just do play action, move out plays because their O-line is half-assed. And the Broncos have a better defense, more experience as well. But offense still wins games, and Joe Flacco might throw a pick, and here you can stop Myles Garrett whenever he's on fire. And we saw that against when they face up against the Patriots, when they face up against the Niners, when they played off against their division rivals. So Browns could win and finally get a 3rd straight. They have an easy second half of the schedule. They can just trail off and win 3 of their next 5, which is 5 of their next 7, that would be perfectly fine. No one cares at this point. We know this is just a rebuilding cycle, and as much as the high acclaim into a playoff contending Browns team doesn't seem up to the task this season, I still have confidence. So Browns at least win 3-2 games in a row. Please do something. Next up, Packers Chargers. Of all the things I expected, the Chargers weren't supposed to suck. They suck. 3-5. They had an easy victory, a close victory after they got pimp slapped by Tennessee, and they come off another close victory, 7-1 possession games this season. They suck. On the offensive scale, they suck. Their own line sucks. Philip can barely get the ball in. The Packers have been playing lights out for a majority of the season, and they were just a game close to being matched up with the other undefeated teams out of the Patriots and the 49ers. So I don't get the Chargers. And I was a big believer of them last season. Like, ooh, until they had the Patriots wild card round. So, yeah, please God, do something. Please do something. Like, make it at least a 14-point game, and maybe we have belief that the Chargers could be a passable football team. Because we know you're not going to lead the division. The Broncos are shit. And the only teams playing it well is the Raiders and Chiefs. So, yeah. Next up, we'll be going to goddamn M&T Bank Stadium. My first ever football game. I went live to M&T Stadium like a week before my 18th birthday. And that'll be a time I'll never forget. It was the Steelers and the Ravens playing off, and I think it was a Week 8 matchup. It was amazing. And now it's Week 9. It's 2019. I'm nearly turning 20 years old, and all I can bring up is anybody excited for this game? You have a good secondary in depth. You have a good pass rush. You have the best field. You have the best kicker in the NFL. Lamar Jackson is playing well. The offense could need a bit of work over the offseason, but Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards keeps it a good, reliable running core. Plus, you still have Jackson, even though his passing is off the wazoo. So please, God, please keep it a close one. Try to upset the. I have the Ravens. This sounds like a risque choice, and I'm doing this because the underdog system of things and the Patriots have been looking a bit off. And this is their first season of competition, thanks the Ravens are not injured in any way, shape, or form. They beat teams like the Rams, Seahawks. They've beaten goddamn Steelers. They've beaten the Bengals. They've beaten the Browns. No, they lost to the Browns. But other than that, they're a good team. And the only way of making sure they lose is to make sure the pressure gets into Tom Brady so bad because he's old. And make sure that the secondary gets their emotions out of check. Monday Night Football is going to be phenomenal shit. It's another primetime game that's not on Sunday. That's going to be complete shit. And most of the primetime games has been disappointing as hell because most players have been injured or either been traded in the off season when they were supposed to be hyped to play on the same team. Now we got the Cowboys playing off against the Giants, and the Cowboys have been 8-1 in the NFC East since 2018, while being 6-8 the last other team. So Zeke still best combo. Now they got Michael Bennett. Now they have a scary reason to kill the Giants by 30 points. Other than that, I can only see Daniel Jones throwing 2 touchdowns. And most of them will come from a defensive mistake, maybe coming from the Giants. I don't see anything because Dak Prescott been passing lights out. by God, no one's stopping Amari Cooper or Jason Witten because he's going to be more of a threat thanks to linebacker core shit, and they can't defend midfield for their life. So, please, God, if the Giants, you couldn't beat the Lions, you made me disappointed. So, get fucked by the Cowboys. That's my predictions for Week 9. We're in the month of November, folks, and playoff dogfights are going to come to an absolute crazy start here in 2019 regular season. So please keep your hats on. Join the DST Nation. And of course, like, comment, and subscribe. Because I don't get paid. Because you poor people don't like or subscribe. So thank you for watching. Please join the show.